I've been asked about the technique I used to create the lion's mane on my current drawing. So here is a little video demonstration. So this is the lion in question. As you can see, it's quite stylised rather than going for the realistic look, as I am heavily inspired by Victorian etchings and I tried to recreate that look through my pen drawings. These are the pens I use. I use this one for the darker tones as it has a really deep black ink. I use this one for the mid-tones and for most of the drawing. And I often use a mechanical pencil with a 2B lead just to create softer shading and tone. I should also say I always use fine tips for detail. Usually tip size 0.03, 0.05 and 0.1. This is the material I use for drawing on. It's Framer's Conservation Mountboard. It's nice and sturdy and it's just a really nice surface to work on. So I'll start with the Staedtler pen, drawing lines in a curved motion like this. There are two types of line I am doing here. There is the solid line where I press down continuously on the pen, and then there is the finer line where I press down lighter on the pen and then flick the tip away from the board as I draw. I draw the lines into separate locks of hair overlapping each other in a plait-like composition. As this develops, I draw darker shading underneath where the locks cross over each other to create a more three-dimensional effect. Like this bit, for example. I keep working this technique with the stronger lines overlapped by the finer lines whilst drawing in the darker areas, but also allowing white to show through as this creates a sense of light hitting the fur. If you overwork this, it starts to look rather flat and dark, so I'd bear this in mind when drawing. This is a slightly different technique I'm using here. I press down on the pen at a right angle whilst flicking the tip away from the page. I think it's good to vary different textures as it creates a layered effect. I start to draw over some of the original lines I did to segment sections further and to create more layers. Here I'm drawing finer, more wispier lines to create a fluffy effect around the edges. I feel as I start to add more of these finer lines, the feeling of fur starts to become more apparent. I keep working this technique, which is the same technique I used in the beginning where you hold the pen down whilst flicking the tip away from the page, almost like flicking a match on a matchbox. Now I'll start to use the 2B mechanical pencil just to soften up some of the harder edges. I feel the 2B lead is good because it's soft but also very dark, so you can create a good contrast but also keeping it soft and fine. Also with the pencil, I stop working in a linear way as I do with the pens and focus more on shading. And now back with the pen, just developing the composition a bit further. And this is the Micron pen. I haven't used it so far, but as I said in the beginning, it has a very deep black ink, so it's good to work in certain areas to create more contrast and to produce a more three-dimensional look. And there you go, a tiny section of lion mane. Thank you for watching.